Enter into this early Grand Lodge period of Freemasonry, just at the peak of the Hellfire Club's popularity. Adam Weishaupt, 1748 to 1780s, professor of canon law at the University of Ingolstadt, and 1776 founder of the Bavarian Illuminati, sometimes called the Order of Perfectibilists. In 1777, Weishaupt was initiated into Freemasonry in Munich at the Lodge Theodore of Good Counsel. In 1780, Weishaupt initiated Baron von Nige into his Illuminati system, but only 4 years later, on April 20th, 1784, von Nige resigned. During this brief period of time, however, the group had already amassed between 2,000 and 3,000 members, according to some estimates. The avowed aim of this largely covert organization was to increase the morality, virtue, and happiness of humanity across the world. Nevertheless, due to their over-secrecy, they were suppressed and legally dissolved by the Bavarian government of Karl Theodor, Elector of Bavaria, from 1784 to 8, largely at Jesuit behest. Weishaupt continued writing works such as Diogenes' Lamp, following the dissolution of his order, but the premise of organizing around his expressed principles having been specifically outlawed, Weishaupt became a broken, hollow shell of whom he could have been, if only things had gone only ever so slightly differently for his fate. He received the assistance of Duke Ernest II of Saxe-Gotha-Altenburg, 1745 to 1804, while in exile in Gotha, and wrote a series of works on Illuminism, including A Complete History of the Persecutions of the Illuminati in Bavaria, 1785, A Picture of Illuminism, 1786, An Apology for the Illuminati, 1786, and An Improved System of Illuminism, 1787, and died at an unknown age on an uncertain date to be ostensibly forgotten about by serious historians, swept into what researchers call the dustbin of history, or simply the memory hole. Weishaupt's hyper-rationalism, his humorless means of conveying data, and his seemingly matter-of-fact mannerism while positing logically astounding conclusions, amount to leaving the informing philosophy of the Illuminati order stylistically high and dry, though the real genius of Weishaupt's mind was in his organizational capabilities, so he flourished in designing an efficacious, elegant, yet overwhelmingly complex system of degrees, ritual work, and knowledge lectures. Weishaupt's first innovation was to design the first diagrammatical Ponzi scheme for exponentially inflating the Illuminati's membership roster, implementing a rule of each Illuminatus minor level initiate must bring in no fewer than 2 new prospective candidates for Minerval level initiation. Weishaupt seems to have adopted a great many symbolic details from contemporary Freemasonic rituals into his degree system, yet he simultaneously lists 8 reasons Freemasonry cannot improve mankind, and 8 reasons the Illuminati can, in the preparatory essay of his order, and states openly therein also that the Illuminati's goal was to secretly acquire a voting majority in those lodges and attempt to either reform or dismantle them. Weishaupt encouraged a rigorously strenuous literary routine, where most of an initiate's free time would be taken up with either reading assigned books and essays or writing various types of reports, ranging from book reports and summaries of news articles to detailed intelligence dossiers to be collected on other known members and any and all prospective members as well, and even private diaries of one's own inner thoughts and most embarrassing urges, in order for the secret censor of the order to know all the order's initiates' innermost strengths and weaknesses, in short, to know every member better than they knew themselves. The Illuminati of Bavaria, designed by Adam Weishaupt in around 1776, the same year as the signing of the American colonies' Declaration of Independence from British royal rule, was a system of 9 degrees divided into 4 classes. The first class, of preparatory degrees, was 4 degrees long. The second class, or intermediary degree, was 1 degree alone. The third class, or class of the lesser mysteries, contained 2 degrees, and the final 4th class, the class of the greater mysteries, contained 2 degrees as well. It is not now known exactly how many of the order's 2,000 to 3,000 initiates belonged to which of these classes and degrees at the time of the Illuminati's discovery in and expulsion from Bavaria around 1784. The titles and details of all 9 degrees can now be more or less entirely known through the works of various Masonic scholars. The first degree was a dual role between the uninitiated novice and the initiated apart from all ceremonial procedure. The second degree was called the Academy of Illuminism, or the Brethren of Minerva, ancient Roman goddess of wisdom and guile, and held in a dark room by dark of night. The third degree, Illuminatus Minor, is the final stage of the nursery class, and encouraged members at this level to join and essentially to infiltrate Illuminism into Freemasonry's right proper lodges. The fourth degree, Illuminatus Major, or Scottish Novice, is the final stage of the preparatory degrees class, and in its accompanying ceremony, the candidate was required to draft a brief essay summarizing their own life and present it to their sponsor. It was then double-checked for falsification by the Order's Intelligence Department, the secret censor. The fifth degree, called Scottish Knight of Illuminism, or Illuminatus Dirigens, was the single intermediate degree and involved the candidate for progress being required to testify his belief that the superiors of Illuminism were also the unknown and lawful superiors of Freemasonry. The sixth degree, called Epopt, or Priest of Illuminism, was the first of 2 in the class of the Lesser Mysteries, and for which the ceremony of initiation involved hoodwinking the candidate and kidnapping them via a circuitous route to a brightly lit chamber in the midst of which sits a vacant throne with the insignias of state authority on one side and the symbols of religious rulership on the other. And if they are wisely guided, they choose to become a priest of the order. In the 7th degree, second and last of the lesser mysteries, called Regent or Principatus Illuminatus, the political agenda of the Illuminati was conveyed, along with a chivalric knighting ceremony. The 8th and 9th degrees, those of the class of the greater mysteries, were called Magus, or Philosopher, and Man-King, or Rex, respectively, although their rituals remain lost to secrecy for us today.